Okay, so I knew there was something wrong in 9th grade when I started smoking weed because I hated it. Like I literally would hate it, and I continued to do it every time. Like every weekend, it was like everyone smokes weed and goes to the promenade. But I didn't like it, so I'm like, why do I continue to do something I don't like? You know.
What is up, you guys? Welcome back to the #1 mental health and addiction podcast, the Hopeaholics. I am your girl, Natalie Eva Marie, and these are my boys.
I'm Chad.
Hi, I'm Shane.
Make sure you guys like, subscribe, and follow us on our socials and wherever you get your podcasts.
Got a new episode dropping every Monday and Thursday. Please come check it out.
This episode is brought to you by the Infinity Group. You guys, if you or a loved one is suffering, please call us today. The number is right here on the screen. We are here for you 24/7. Now, let's get into the episode.
Oh,
Yeah.
Yeah, did you
Oh,
notice
yeah,
that?
bro. I saw the thumbs up and the numbers.
I didn't see the thumbs
I
up.
saw both. I saw them both.
I saw
didn't see any
I
of
saw
it.
the clock going, and then I saw something out of the corner of my eye like this.
I have two words to start.
What is it?
Sullen Angel.
Oh,
Yeah, I just found out a little while ago. She's got to
interesting.
shoot next week for Sullen. That's why I was going to grab her a shirt
Next week?
next week.
Yeah, I'll be back in Seal Beach. Isn't that down here? Somewhere?
Yeah,
Yeah, Thursday.
yeah. That's
Because I
where
worked
the
for Sullen
headquarters
when I
is.
was in my 20s, and then reconnected with someone from there.
That's
Nice.
cool.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that is really cool. Small world.
It's not really.
There's more to this story. There's more to the story. Anyways, Jesse, welcome to the Hopeaholics podcast.
Yeah. Nice to
Wait,
have
are
you.
we like live?
Oh,
or
yeah.
just we are?
Not like live.
Shane just likes
live.
to be a nice and awkward intro.
That's what I do.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
well,
we're-
Are you gonna do your thing?
Yeah,
No,
do
I
your
got-
thing.
Your new thing?
No,
Do your thing.
I got no
Do
thing.
it.
I got no thing.
What do you mean?
What?
Did you forget about it?
I didn't forget about it, but there's I don't
You don't know how to talk anymore?
I don't know what to ask.
He wants to know your most traumatic experience right off the jump.
Like,
Really?
Yes.
Yep.
Like prior to addiction?
Anything that you can recall.
In addiction, prior, whatever's most
Yeah.
traumatic. Was did you have a more was your most traumatic experience before you became an addict, or was it during
I guess
your
it's like
addiction?
different levels of trauma. Like,
Yeah.
I feel like what happened to me, like something happened, like when my grandpa died, like in our house on Christmas Eve.
Ooh.
And I was like there for it with my
Yeah.
mom, and like we tried to revive him, and that was very traumatic for me at that age. And
How old were you?
I was in 9th grade. And then after that is when I started to like experiment with drugs and alcohol.
Are you the only child?
I have a younger sister. She's 2 years younger, and then I have a stepsister who's like 6 years younger. But
Nice.
So you think that event is what like popped off your?
I think so, yeah. Because I didn't have any like sexual trauma or
Sure.
like abuse or anything. For a long time, I was like, maybe something happened and I blocked it out, or you hear about all that. But that was like the only thing that made sense to me. That like, was traumatic for me. I mean, I moved around a lot, but that's not really like trauma. That was just me not like being able to establish roots and like having a hard time adjusting at a young age.
I mean, I can tell you that I felt different just from as far back as I can remember.
I was different
So-
in the womb for sure.
Yeah.
I came out fucking
Like-
different.
Yeah, same.
Yeah.
So
How was your security? Like, were you a secure kid?
No, I was like really shy and introverted.
Okay, that's what we're trying. Yeah, I had that too. So insecure, introverted.
Really?
shy.
I feel like none of you guys seem like you would
Oh
be.
wow.
oh, we're all
Well, we're super insecure. We're
Yeah.
probably the most insecure bunch,
Bro,
which is
are you kidding me?
ironic.
We're
Well,
pretty-
but I
we're
think
all
we've
pretty
gotten
sick.
a little bit better, obviously, with some tools in our kit. But I think every human is insecure.
I'm completely
to
mentally off. I do 500 push-ups a day, and I go into the mirror or take my shirt off and make myself feel good. That's how crazy I am.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, he's actually not this buff. He did 500 push-ups before you got here.
Yeah, that's what I do.
Get that pump.
Yeah.
Get that pump. He wants his biceps to look good on the little camera.
Yeah.
I mean, that's how sick we are.
That's
Okay.
So hopefully you can relate and fit right in with us.
So what do you do now?
So I own a sober living.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, it's called Namaste, and it's all women.
Why namaste?
I don't. So my partners and I were trying to figure out like a name that like fit the vibe and someone had just been like jokingly like namaste sober forever.
Mm-hmm.
And we loved that. And so we just grabbed onto that. And then we've incorporated like the vibe of the house to fit that. And we like to like do a lot of yoga, meditation, like breath work, anything like any of those modalities we like to,
Sure.
incorporate. And surprisingly, the house has like very little drama. I feel like it's adopted that namaste vibe.
I mean, that's good.
Yeah.
That's really good for a woman's home.
But not for men's.
Men's are usually pretty drama free for the most part.
Really? I've heard like the complete opposite.
Yeah, no.
But-
From that's just been
From your
my
experience?
experience. Yeah, our women's houses are way more chaotic, and our
That
men's
sounds about
houses
right,
are
though. I would
chill.
put, if I had to make a choice or put money on it, I would always go like, women's houses are going to be more chaotic because you're dealing with a lot of female energy, and as we know, females are difficult.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, females by nature are like the head of the household, right? So when you put 10, 15 girls in
All
the same,
trying to be alphas. Yeah.
Yep, there'll be a lot of alphas, a lot of drama. But that's a testament to how your sober living's run. So
When's your sobriety date?
good for you.
Thank you. 4/26/22. So I'm coming up on 3 years.
Nice.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
Yeah, that's huge.
Yeah, I'm really excited. It took a long time to get there.
So you're here now.
Yeah.
That's all that matters.
Yeah.
What brought you to that moment to change?
So I was using like on and off for a long time, and I went to like, I've lost count like of track of how many rehabs. I finally like knew in my heart that it was going to take like me getting arrested to start that process, and I strongly believe that that was God working in my life. Like it didn't look like it at the time. I was like, oh, like poor me, look what's happening, like
Sure.
so I gotten arrested, and that just started like the process again. I didn't get sober like right after I got arrested. I'd been arrested before many times, but this time I was looking at prison, and so I just continued to use. And then
What'd you get arrested for?
so I took the police on a high-speed chase, and then I had
Nice.
like a bunch of like fraudulent things in my car. That's what I was doing to make money before.
Sure.
So I had 18 charges, like 18 felony charges that they were trying to convict me of. And that still wasn't like enough. I was just like, oh, I'm just going to continue using. And then I got in trouble again while I was out on bail. And I went to court, and my attorney was like, they're going to remand you when you go in there because you got in trouble while you're out on bail. And like, you're a danger to the public. That's what they said. I'm like, I'm not a danger to the public. I'm like not violent. Like, you know what I mean? Like, but I was affecting people's lives in like a different way, So that was like when I made like my first like adult decision, I feel like in a long time, because I was like, part of me was like, I'm just gonna go. Like that was my initial reaction. I'm like, no, I'm not gonna go in there and go get arrested and be dope sick in jail. Like I'm not gonna go in then. And I just remember like seeing like my dad, and like his face was just like so hopeless. Like, oh, here we go again, So I just decided to do something different. I'm like, okay, I'll go in, and if they arrest me, that's okay. And I went in, and the judge was like, oh, you know what? We can give her house arrest instead. So I started my journey of house arrest, and I did that for 19 months. After like 2 months of being on house arrest, I overdosed for the first time. I had never overdosed in like all the years of me using, I had never overdosed. So that really scared me. I was like in this like trap house, and I'm just like, my ex-boyfriend, if he had left like a few minutes earlier, he wouldn't have, been there to save my life. And I just thought like my life like literally almost ended on this dirty ground in this trap house. Like, there was just so much more I wanted to do. And like, I'm very close to my family, and I just can't like imagine what that would have like put them through. So, I just called my dad a week later, and I was like, I'm ready to go to detox. And I had like a staph infection on my foot. And so I had to go to the hospital anyways. And while I was at the hospital, they ended up like just detoxing me there. And then I moved in with my mom, and I started my sobriety journey. So I got sober on like house arrest, like through Zoom meetings.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, but I had like a really strong sponsorship family like right away that like took me under their wing and would come bring the meetings to me. And
Oh, wow.
yeah.
Did you get introduced to the program? You said you previously went to treatment?
Yeah,
before?
so I'd been like in and out of the rooms before, but
Okay.
I never took it seriously. I was like one of those girls
Yeah.
that was like in the back, like, you guys are all just so happy to be here. Like, it's all fake. Like, I just want to go get high, you know?
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, this was like a whole different experience. I think I just had to like grow up. Like,
You gotta just become willing.
yeah,
And that's gonna look different for every single individual.
yeah.
It just takes what it takes, and then hopefully you're able to still be alive to make that
Pretty
decision.
strong visual though, dying on a dirty floor, like she said. You
Yeah.
know what I mean?
What's your drug of choice?
Heroin and meth.
Heroin and meth? Was it fentanyl that you
Probably.
OD'd on?
No, so I was like a really weird addict. I was like anti-fentanyl. Like I didn't even like let people come into my house that were doing it. Primarily because I had my dog and I didn't want anything to drop on the floor. And like I just was like, I don't need to be doing that. Like I've already found what works for me. And I was like, I was scared of it. I'm like, that people can take a hit from smoking it and die. Like, no, thank you, you know? I just like, is this okay to say in front of?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm like,
It's my kid. That's my kid over there now.
yeah, I know. I just don't want to like say anything that's like too graphic or triggering. But so at this point, like I had like blown out like a lot of my veins, so I was like doing muscle shots, and like you have to make them like double the amount stronger. So I had made the mistake of drawing from that spoon and doing the shot from that.
Yeah.
And my ex like walked in, and I started like seizing, and like my jaw was clenched.
Ugh.
He had to like pry my mouth open, and like started giving me CPR, and he found Narcan, and then he called the paramedics. Yeah. And I just remember waking up and like hearing like in the background like him on the phone, like speakerphone with someone. I'm like, what's going on? I was so confused. And that's just like how fast it happened. Like you're there 1 second and then
Can you imagine?
you're just gone.
Scary stuff, man. Just like that.
Yeah, I mean it really is, because the truth is like if fentanyl would have been around when I was using, I wouldn't be here. Like I would not be here.
Oh, for sure.
Because like heroin wasn't my drug of choice, but meth was. But I would get really like whacked out on meth, you know, meth induced psychosis, crazy.
Ooh.
And whenever I wanted to come down, I would typically want like Valium, Xanax, Klonopin. But if that wasn't available, I would do heroin. And
Nowadays, everything's cut. Like
yeah, well, yeah. I mean, nowadays we, you know, I've been, my story's kind of, the end of my story is kind of similar to yours. I got in a high speed chase.
really.
I had 19 charges. I think the first offer they gave me was 12 years in state prison.
Oh my god.
And the funny thing is I hadn't even met Donna yet. My lovely wife who's sitting behind us, who is actually friends with Jessy. They know each other.
So wild.
Yeah.
Cool.
And yeah, then I meet her. I was like sober, fresh in. I think I was still in rehab when I met her. Definitely IOP.
Yeah.
Definitely no license.
I didn't have a driver's
license. Who
Massive,
said that?
massive catch.
Like after yeah, like that was a God thing, right?
Well, that's
Like,
amazing to know that's when you guys met and like look at you guys now. Like
yeah.
yeah.
So and then I find out stuff about her dad, and I was like, this isn't good.
Yeah, he's gonna love me.
Exactly. Her dad's gonna love me. Anyways, I made it through too. I made it through all of that.
Did you have to go to prison?
No. I got sentenced to 3-year state prison. I got a joint suspension. I had to do 365 days in a residential treatment center,
Okay.
and 5 years probation.
Okay. Yeah, so my sentencing was a little bit similar too. We were trying to get like mental health diversion, and the judge was like, no. It was like, absolutely not. Like, this does not fit the criteria. And then they were like, okay, you can take 32 months in prison or the deal's off the table. So I signed for that, and then I went to go turn myself in like 2 months later, and my attorney was like fighting for me, like trying everything he could last minute just to see if they could do something. And they're like, what about her house arrest credits? And I guess it was like a fine line. They didn't have to give it to me.
Yeah.
And it was like, I swear, like divine intervention that day. Like the DA who was on my case and was like there religiously, like he didn't show up that day. It was like this woman who didn't really know what was going on like with my case, but she was still trying to like fight against it. And the judge had seen me and like how much I had like tried to like put effort into changing. Like I had asked permission to go to outpatient while I was on house arrest. They let me do that like 3 times a week for 6 months. And I don't know. He agreed to give me credit. And then the DA was like, no, this doesn't, like, she was like looking up penal codes or something in her like phone. It was like, according to this. And the judge just like looked at her and she's like, I submit, Your Honor. And she just like stopped. And then they like calculated it up and it was like it equaled to overtime served.
Nice.
So I got my monitor off like as soon as I walked out, and I didn't have to go to prison or jail. It was really a wild like turn of events. Like it was not what I expected, you know. And I feel like that's like the power of like just surrendering and trusting God. Like,
Yeah.
Yep.
You know, because I was like willing to just do my time. Like the other part of me was like the fantasy part, and I know 32 months is not that long, but I was like, I'm just gonna run away to another state. You know, like, but who wants to live like that?
Nobody. And eventually they'll catch you anyways, and then that 32 months with half that you were gonna do becomes 32 months full. Yeah, that's really funny. If you go back to some of the early pictures of Donna and I, if you guys ever see them, and I'm wearing Dickie shorts with long socks on, and if you look down at the shoe, there is an ankle monitor on it. Donna, why don't you go ahead and repost that today? Like,
that's hilarious.
Oh yeah. Oh, that's her screensaver right now.
Oh my goodness.
Me with an ankle monitor on right there. Just
real winner.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Good times though, you know. It takes what it takes.
It
you
does.
know, I this wasn't my first rodeo either, because when I was already an owner of a treatment center when I relapsed.
Oh, okay.
And I mean, it's pretty embarrassing because like everybody in the community knows that I relapsed. Everybody knows that I got in a high-speed chase in a Lamborghini, and
I got in the high-speed chase in a Hellcat.
Nice.
Yeah, I thought like I can get.
I mean, at least like we were doing cars that can actually beat the cops, right? It's kind of scary though. Let me ask you about that, because I was scared.
No, I was terrified. Like once I started, I was like, this was the wrong idea.
Yeah.
This was not the right choice.
Yeah. I was in a meth-induced psychosis, and I thought I had a flux capacitor on my car, though. I don't know. Yeah. Are you old enough to know Back to the Future? The flux capacitor was the thing that made the time travel possible in the movie Back to the Future. Okay. So I had mentally put one of those on my Lamborghini, and
like you really believed it was there.
Oh yeah. I was straight meth-induced psychosis. Yeah. It's people don't want to be around me because I'm crazy, you know.
Wait, why were they trying to pull you over?
I had a warrant out for my arrest for trafficking methamphetamines.
Okay.
And they went to pull me over, and I had gotten in a fight with them 2 weeks prior. Like literally had 5 counts of assault on a police officer. And they came to pull me over again, and I was like, you know, they beat me up really bad. And I was like, not today. I was just like not feeling it. I was like, I'm not doing it. So when he flipped on the lights, I stepped on the gas. And
I was out here.
Yeah, right here in Dana Point.
Oh,
crazy.
Went flying by Dana Hills High School. Thank God it was Christmas vacation.
Totally.
Because it was literally like 10 o'clock in the morning when this happened.
Oh, I hate
in the morning.
I hate going on a run in the morning. That's the worst thing, bro.
What, you've been in a high speed?
No, I'm just saying, even going to pick up in the morning, you know, after the night, and then it's like 8 o'clock, 10 o'clock in the morning, you go to the Jonesy's house.
Horrible.
And you're looking at everyone at work going, Jesus, shit.
People like jogging together.
Yeah. You're like, oh God, I just want to get some more
I hadn't
dope.
slept in probably like 4 days, and the sun was coming up, and it was just terrible.
That is the worst.
Yeah.
Terrible.
Mine was in the morning too.
Let me ask you a question. Like, when you saw the cop and he was getting ready, were you like, I knew the guy was in this lane and he saw my car and he pulled right behind me. And I was like, I'm done.
Yeah.
As soon as the light turned green, he flipped on his lights.
Yeah.
And I
So
stepped on the gas.
mine was like a little different. I was going to Walgreens. I was dope sick and I needed to get rigs, and I had just gotten them through the drive-through, and I like pulled to like the side, not in a parking spot, and I was like doing something on my phone. And the car, I had all the windows tinted black, including the front windshield. It was really dark. I don't know why I was driving around like that. Like, that's not like a good car to drive around if you're doing like sketchy stuff, you know? And it was in Arleta. So it was like, do you know where that? In the valley, just like San Fernando Valley, like in like the hoodie area, like not the gray area. And they pulled in, and I'm like, oh no, here they are, you know? And like, I pulled into a spot real quick. I was going to jump out and like walk into Walgreens, but I backed into a spot, and they pulled up and like faced me, and we just like locked eyes, and then they turned their lights on, and I was like, nope. And I just turned my car on and like drove around them and just took off. So just, like, and I had no idea like where I was going. I went the wrong direction from the freeway, and I just kept like, I just remember seeing all these, like every street I passed, like another cop was like coming down, like they were coming out of the woodwork. So I'm like, oh my God, I'm not getting away this time. And I ended up pulling like down a dead end, and then like I'm like, I'm still not giving up. And like I almost hit the cop, like coming around, like trying to turn around to get out. And then I pulled down another dead end. And I just remember like crossing intersections, like going, please God, just don't let me hurt anyone. Like not even like looking. And like, I got away for a second. I thought so. And I was like down the second dead end. And I'm like, this is getting ridiculous. So I'm just going to park. Because like, and I saw there was like a driveway where like with a gate, you could like pull in and you wouldn't be able to see the car from the street. So I pulled in and I'm like, okay, this is perfect. And I had this like black box that I would keep like IDs and like credit cards in that was magnetic, and it usually went under my car, but this time I was very messy. I had just everything in the car like spilled everywhere, and I just grabbed it and I jumped out and I like threw it in these people's driveway that I was in, like their trash can outside. And then I look up and there was a helicopter already, and I'm like, oh God. So I started walking, and then the first cop pulled down, and he's like get out, like stop. And I'm like, what am I doing? I didn't do anything. He's like, stop or I'm gonna take you down. I'm like, okay. I'm stopping. And then they all pulled down the street, and it was funny. I had like ice cream just like spilt all over me. I just like picked up ice cream too, and like, yeah, it was a mess. And then they thought like there was a guy with me. They're like, where'd the driver go? And I should have been like, he went that way.
Yeah, you should have.
Right?
I know.
Moment,
I know.
Like, sure, it wasn't me. I'm innocent.
I know. In the moment, I was just like,
it's true though, because in the moment, like we're addicts, not criminals. You know, like that's the truth.
Yeah.
People who are sober that do shit like that, like do crimes, and they already have this shit planned out,
bro.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I wasn't expecting to get in a high-speed chase that day. It was just a decision that I had to make in a split second, and I was high on meth, and I made a bad choice.
Yeah.
I actually got away. So I thought my flux capacitor had worked, but I got to see the dash cam. I was smoking the guy. So, but when you're in the midst of it, the sirens are so loud. I thought he was, and I never looked in my rearview mirror because I was so scared that I was going to kill somebody. So I was watching, the road really close. Well, I had gone up over this ridge, and then I turned right. Well, he hadn't cleared the ridge yet, so he didn't see me turn right. And when he came down, he turned left.
So you did get away.
I got away, and what I should have done was took my car to the nearest parking lot, got out of it, got in an Uber, and called it in stolen.
Yeah.
But I didn't.
Because you're an addict.
I panicked, and I went home. It was my car.
That was a dumb laugh.
Yeah.
That was calling him dumb. That was you're a dummy. Laugh. That was
Straight
funny.
up dummy.
Straight up dummy. That's funny.
So
it's a good one.
So I pull into my garage, and as soon as I get to my driveway, there's like my whole entire street was shut down.
Oh, wow.
They're holding me at gunpoint, and I pulled into my garage, and they were all standing there. 2 cops came around to the front. They pulled out their batons, smashed out both windows on the side. They were telling me to stop moving. I was like, I was noodle grouping. I was tripping. this guy shoots me with the taser gun.
Oh my God.
And I'm like, and this guy over here is yelling, stop moving, stop moving. Boom, he shoots me with the taser gun. So I'm being double tased.
Wow, they treat men a lot differently.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Then when they pulled me out of the car, smashed my face into the glass that they had broke, rubbed it all down, and then proceeded to beat me up. I was in the hospital for a couple days.
Oh my God.
Yeah. Good times.
Yeah, none of that happened to me. They just barricaded around my car though, and they're like, "Come out with your hands up." I'm like, "There's no one in there." Like they thought it was like someone else in there. Yeah, and then I was like, "Can I get let off with a warning?" I was like, I left. I freaked out because I don't have a current license, and they're like, "We'll talk about it at the station."
They're like, you have 25 in your car.
Yeah.
God.
What are you talking about?
No, and then like I was dating this guy, my ex, and he was really constantly tripping from meth and like thought I was like, he just saw my location that I was like someone's house, and he's like, she's at a dude's house, she's not answering, you know.
Oh,
so he just kept like blowing my phone up like over and over, and I finally asked the cop, I was like, can you just answer that and let him know like I'm under arrest, please? And one of the cops did it, and like as soon as he picks it up, like, you can hear my ex screaming at him, calling him all these names and stuff.
I'm gonna fucking kill you, motherfucker! You. Can you imagine?
You're not a cop.
Oh yeah. Give me your fucking address. I'm coming over right now.
Seriously.
Coming over. That'd be
No,
me.
then he did drive by the house to see like,
oh,
and
yeah,
he
for
said all the
sure.
stuff was like laid out, and I had like a bunch of wigs, and they were just like all on the sidewalk. They kept them for evidence.
Wow.
Isn't that weird?
No,
I mean-
because 25 driver's license.
You never
and
know what
25
else you
wigs,
were
it's
doing.
like, yeah, clearly she's running game over here with different people.
Could be armed robbery.
Yeah.
Totally.
Who knows?
Yeah. So, and then I was like at the station, and I thought, because it was like during COVID, that they were gonna like book and release me, and I'm like, oh, I'll be good. And, you know, they're, no, we don't release for evading. That's what one of the charges that we don't release for.
Yeah, evading is an automatic prison sentence.
Yeah, I didn't know that.
Yeah, felony evading is a minimum 16 months. Minimum. So 16, 3 and or 2 and 3. 3's the max on just the evading. And
I
she
don't,
had.
I don't.
You don't evade?
I don't evade. I only evade my wife. That's it. I only evade her. No, it's true. Well, I'm being honest.
Okay.
I'm married 16 years. You know what I'm saying. You got to evade it.
Nobody does.
Oh, wow.
For 16 years, you got to evade, bro. It's dangerous in here. Okay, I'm just saying. You don't know which way. Yesterday, she was in the mood. I walked in the kitchen. You get to buy your face to leave. Don't be in the house right now. Her face just said, "Fuck off."
That's
Oh yeah.
amazing. 16 years.
Yeah, it is amazing. Thank you.
Yeah.
I mean, it's the truth. This is nobody else in the world would put up with him. So he's
That's true.
just a fact.
Kind of true.
Can you mark that one for a clip for Shane? That's a really good one. I don't know if we
Yeah,
can post
play
it.
it. Play it. I don't care. Where's she going? Hey, where's she fucking gonna go?
And cut that into the end of it like that. I'm sorry. That shit's funny to me.
Were you
but
ever in another high speed chase?
That's the only one.
Yeah, I was in. So that was my
No.
third one.
Holy
But-
shit!
Were you
I
driving in
like-
all these,
No,
all of them?
I was driving in one other one.
I really like her a lot.
With my ex, and our dog was in the back of the car. But it was
Wow.
in Marina Del Rey, and it was like I like pulled out of a restaurant and almost hit them head on, and then they like followed us, and I went down the alley like the wrong way. So I don't think they wanted to follow us very long. And then we like parked in a residential area and just like jumped out real quick, and because the windows were so dark, they didn't know who to look for. So we saw them driving around, and we were like at the light walking my dog, just like
Oh, that's good.
they had like no, that's good.
That's good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They
Happy
didn't
couple.
Yeah, the dog
Tweaking
dog
over the
really
dog.
yeah,
My poor
the,
dog.
The dog really pulled that one off, huh?
Yeah, oh,
Yeah.
for sure.
She's
Depends
a
what kind of
gangster,
dog it
my
was, though.
dog.
The dog.
If it was a pit bull.
What kind of dog?
She's a husky, like a black husky
Oh,
with
that's
blue
nice.
eyes.
Yeah,
Like she
that's
looks
nice.
really like
That's nice. I like huskies. They're very loyal.
yeah.
Yeah.
They talk too.
Yeah, she's
Oh,
like,
Yeah.
yeah.
I have a husky breed that's Samoyed, and he says he whistles at Donna when she'll walk in, and he'll be like, "Woo woo." Donna will go, "Thanks." he says, "I love you."
oh.
Right?
Oh, that's,
He says, "My dog says I love you."
that's so nice.
I've seen a video like where a bunch of different dogs will say "I love you." Yeah.
It's hilarious,
It's so cool.
and he gets like zero love from me. It's sad.
Maybe why you pet him with your foot?
I do.
You didn't think I knew that one, did you? I know a
Everybody.
lot. Okay, he's a foot petter. He is a foot petter. That's his thing. What's it called? That's your Yeah, he's a foot petter. Stay at the foot.
So when did you get addicted? Like when did you know that you were an addict? At what age?
Well, looking back, I feel like I had signs that there was like, I don't know, is this normal? Like I was like stealing in like preschool, like and like knowing that it was wrong, like from like the lost and found, but like okay, I was just very manipulative at like a young age, you know, like trying to like bend the rules and stuff. But I didn't really. Okay, so I knew there was something wrong in 9th grade when I started smoking weed because I hated it. Like I literally would hate it, and I continued to do it every time. Like every weekend, it was like everyone smokes weed and goes to the promenade. But I didn't like it, so I'm like, why do I continue to do something I don't like? You know. And then I started to drink, which I didn't mind that, but it was like never like enough. I always felt like I needed something more. And then I started doing like ecstasy and going to raves. That I really liked. And I feel like I was always trying to find that connection and like freedom throughout my addiction moving forward after that, you know? But I really realized there was a problem. After I graduated, I went to CSUN and I was still able to like manage going to school at the time. I started to do oxys and like roxys and stuff, and then I went to go study abroad in Rome for a month. And I like left everything behind because I was like, I'd go through like these periods, even like when Donna and I were hanging out, like I would like be like, I need to stop drinking for like a week or something. I'm just gonna be healthy and go to the gym, and like I would try to do that for like a week or two, and then like so then after that, that's when the pills started, and I left them all behind, and I didn't like realize what was going to happen to me when I got to Rome, and that I was going to be detoxing and and then I was like in full survival mode out there. I'm like, I need to get something. Like I'm like, I went to the hospital, I tried to get like codeine from them, and then like I tried to get then you can get it like over the counter or something. I was like trying to like smoke codeine like pill. I like didn't even make sense like what I was doing, but I was desperate to like change how I felt. And so then I ended up flying back and forth from Rome to Canada like 3 times that month because I had a boyfriend.
Where in Canada?
Toronto.
Really?
I was dating this guy that lived out there, like a long distance.
Well.
Yeah, we met in like Miami and like fell like in e-love.
What's that? What's e-love?
Yes.
Ecstasy love.
Oh,
She knows about that.
Oh, yeah.
I never did ecstasy because I got addicted
It's a
to
hell of a
crystal.
drug.
Yeah.
It did nothing for me because I mean I've done it.
Okay, you've done it.
I got addicted to crystal meth when I was 13 years old. So
wow.
the amount of drugs that's in an ecstasy pill,
Not enough.
it was not even close to enough.
But it's like a completely different type of thing.
2 of my best weeks of my
Ecstasy.
life were spent in Ibiza on ecstasy.
Ecstasy.
You went to Ibiza?
Oh yeah, 2 weeks.
That's like a dream of
It was
mine.
incredible.
Yeah.
It was incredible.
He's a world traveler.
Yeah.
I was living in Switzerland at the time. I just flew over to Ibiza.
Oh, wow.
It was really good.
And
It's like a
he's
nonstop-
Canadian.
And I'm Canadian.
Oh, really?
Yeah, from Winnipeg.
I don't hear
Nobody
a
knows where
Canadian
that is.
accent.
I've been here 17 years, 18
Don't
years. So.
he says weird shit. Say
I don't go against me.
against. Say say resources.
About resource.
Resource. Yeah, resource.
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 Yeah, the guy that I was dating in Canada, he was like probably like the only nice boyfriend I ever had, you know? Like Canadians are so
That's
nice.
what we do.
What?
We're friendly.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
We're friendly.
His
We love
mom,
You
nudity.
are friendly,
We're friendly
but
and we love nudity.
His mom wrote me like a handwritten letter, like begging me to leave her son alone.
Oh
She
God.
just, like saw like
Lord have mercy.
she's like
My mom has written about a dozen of those fucking letters. Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah, but you're the problem.
No, totally. But the girl, you know what I mean?
you are the problem. And your mom, was she right? I hope she was writing the letter to you.
No,
Dear
it was-
Shane, please leave this girl alone.
It was to the girls, sadly. Sadly, yeah.
Please leave this girl alone. You're
Yeah.
going to hurt
Seriously.
and ruin her.
Lord have mercy. God.
but yeah, I went in Rome like that. So I flew back and forth and I was getting the pills and
Oh.
I don't even know, like I couldn't even attend the classes because I was just so not in a good place. But yeah, that's when I really realized like there was something going on.
When did you find heroin?
So I went to rehab after that for the first time. And then I found heroin after rehab because I kept hearing about it in there.
Damn.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't want to, taint rehabs, but like there are times that people go to rehab and they come in as an alcoholic and leave a
Yeah.
heroin addict. Fentanyl now, but
I mean, it makes sense to me because
Yeah.
it's like you're lumping all of us together and we're all not the best. Our heads aren't right. So it's like, yay, let's talk
and somebody
about everything.
can really make
know?
heroin or meth or something sound fun.
Yeah,
you know?
for sure.
I
So-
romanticized it
Yeah,
for like a long
definitely.
time.
Our
Did you?
imagination makes it so much better too.
Yeah.
So it's like,
Oh yeah, you were an IV drug user. Sorry, I was replaying what you said because you said you had ruined your veins and were muscling it.
Mm-hmm.
I have lots of friends that heroin really, meth doesn't do that. I was an IV meth user. My veins were,
Fine.
fine.
But I feel like men have better veins.
yeah.
I mean, I have a lot of friends that are, just straight heroin addicts, and their veins are dust,
Really?
gone.
So I would mix the two. I did goofballs and like
Yeah.
it still, I don't know. I feel like meth is like so poisonous. Like you miss with that and like your veins just going to be like, "Brr."
Yeah, you don't want to do it that way.
Yeah.
You don't want to miss.
Yeah.
That's no. I don't ever want to stick that crap in my body ever again.
No, it's crazy. I think about that now. I'm like, I feel so far removed from that. And
Good for you.
it's weird though, because like for so long, like I did not want to be sober. Like every time I got sober, I was like, I want to want this. Like I want to be like wanting to be happy, joyous and free. But like, I just couldn't get away from like that craving and obsession. And, yeah, it was just, it was like a constant battle to want to stay sober before. But this time, like, that's why I strongly believe it, like in a higher power, because it's just weird that my mind could just shift so dramatically. Like, I can't imagine like putting poison in my body like that again. I feel like too, when you start to like work out and you take care of yourself, like it just, you can't imagine doing that.
that
Right?
all of it
Yeah.
combined, man. I was gonna ask you, how did you get sober? Like,
Her mom's house.
No, I know the mom's house, but you go 12-step meetings?
Yeah, so one of my partners at Namaste, she's been like my friend since high school. We used to use together. Like we have like, crazy stories. She's like 10 years sober now.
Nice.
So yeah, she was the one who was like, jump on the Zoom meeting and
that's nice.
and then I got a sponsor in the group, so I was like able to join the sponsorship family. And yeah, so that's how I like got reintroduced to AA. And I think I had a different experience with it this time because I saw how like close knit the family could be, like the fellowship. Like before, I would just kind of like go to meetings here and there. I never worked steps, never had a sponsor.
Totally
know.
bob and weave
Yeah.
in and out. Like,
Yeah.
And then you actually got to see like the change, and especially if your girlfriend like
Yeah.
brought you into these particular Zooms, it's like totally
Yeah.
what the meetings always say.
Yeah.
The cliche is attraction
Yeah.
rather than promotion. So you saw her have a little change that all of a sudden it gave you a little hope to stick it out because you wanted the same thing.
Yeah.
Because clearly whatever she was doing was working out. So you're like, let me dabble in this a little bit.
Yeah, I just saw them, like these women that, and like some of them, like, and another girl in the group too, I've known from like high school as well. So I'm like, I know how bad they were.
Sure.
And like just the transformation that they've made, it was inspiring. And just the fact that like they like gave me my 1-year cake. I was still on house arrest, so they came to my house
Yeah.
and gave me the cake. And like, I don't know, I just felt a very strong connection with everyone in that group, and they carried me through like that, court case of going back and forth, not knowing what was going to happen, and finding out I was supposed to go to prison, and they would come and pray with me, and like, yeah, I highly like believe that like the women like saved my ass.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
And God in you.
Yeah.
Because you have to be willing to do it.
Yeah.
Because
Put
it
in the
ain't
work.
going to work if you don't work it.
Yeah.
You know?
Like the
Works,
All
if,
the
work,
fucking-
works
all
if
the-
you work it, right?
work. It's like
Yeah.
all this cliche things. Because I was the same as you, like that girl in the back that would just kind of, scoff at it. When
Yeah.
It's like, okay, way to go. So I get it, but it does require the actionable steps for you to see any type of result
Yeah.
of any degree.
Yeah.
Yeah, the program is its steps, and that's what a lot of times when we walk into meetings and we're not really ready, we don't even realize that that it's not about the meetings. It's the steps. But the meetings are where seeds get planted in people's brains, and they start to see that maybe people do stay sober. Because I remember going to my very first Narcotics Anonymous meeting. I was telling Donna about this the other day. I was full blown in my addiction, and one of my friends went to a rehab, and he invited me to the outside 12 or Narcotics Anonymous meeting so he could pick up his 30-day chip. I didn't know anything about. I didn't even know that recovery existed. I was just been an addict since I was 13 years old. Went in, watched him take his chip. I just thought everybody was full of shit. I didn't think anybody was being serious.
Yeah.
We walk out to my car, and I used to keep my meth in one of those film containers. This was back in the 90s. And I had it in my pocket, and he walks me out to my car, and I pulled it out of my car, and I jiggled it in front of him, and I put it back in my pocket, and I said, see you later. And
What a dick.
an hour later, he was at the apartment I was at.
Oh no.
It's fucked up, huh?
Sad.
It don't matter. Donna hates the dude because that's the dude I was getting fucking loaded with when I relapsed when we first met. She got to see the insanity in my life because I relapsed during our first year, and it was terrible. Just terrible.
How long did you stay in your relapse?
Well, the worst one was 90 days. It was
Terrible.
yeah. It's my biggest one.
Yeah, that's bad. That's bad. I'm just thinking of like my little dabbles of relapsing, and to do that to like your partner sucks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's also good because it's like you get to your other half gets to see how sick you really are and how imperative it is for you to maintain your sobriety,
Yeah.
or else you're gonna deal with a monster,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
nobody wants that.
What's interesting is, so like when I got sober on house arrest and I was together with my ex-boyfriend, like we were together for 4 years at that point, and like, we were using for all those years, and then he ended up going to rehab too, and like moved in with my mom and I, and like we lived together like sober for another year. So we like, I don't know, I feel like that's really rare, you know. We're not together anymore, but we're still friends. And
Sure.
But
He's
it was
still sober?
yeah.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, he is.
Good for him.
Yeah.
I mean, you hear those stories. We had a couple on our podcast that actually was like out running and gunning in their addiction, and then Diana, and now they're like together, married, pregnant, through it all
That's so beautiful.
for a lot of years, like 20 years or something crazy, like really crazy, like out in their addiction together.
Wow.
Like him in prison, her running and gunning, doing the thing, then vice versa, her and while he's and then they got sober together. So the fact. It's not impossible.
Yeah.
Not impossible, but
Very rare.
very rare.
Very rare.
Less than 1%.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, because like couples in treatment
Yeah.
never works.
Yeah.
Well, that's why they suggest, like, literally when you're first trying to get sober, like, to not date anybody for the first year.
Yeah.
That's why that
I finally
suggestion
see,
is.
like why they say
For
that.
sure, because it's like you're a mess. You don't even know who you are. You're coming to like figure out yourself because you've been numbing it for the last X amount of years with the substance of some sort or a drink. So, what are you really providing to your partner? Nothing except a broken individual.
Yeah.
So it's like you're putting back those pieces those first year because everything is new. You're experiencing emotions that you wanted to never experience before, whether they're good or bad, So it's like I get it too because I was like, wait, why? And obviously every situation is different based upon age, and people come in and they're already married and stuff like that. But it's primarily a really good suggestion.
Yeah.
If your situation is allowed for that.
Yeah. And it can also be like really triggering, like the relationship.
Totally.
Out, like
Well, I mean, there's nothing worse than a scorned woman. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like all of a sudden busting windows and doing drive-bys.
Yeah.
Like that's not good.
that's actually,
putting
like-
pink hair dye in there.
There you go.
like, so the ex that we were using together, like we had like gotten together when I was in treatment, and I had like 9 months and he had like maybe 2 months. And then he ended up like cheating and then relapsing. And so that's exactly what happened. I felt like triggered and I was like, fuck this. I'm just going to use you then,
Totally.
So I definitely like agree with that rule,
For sure.
It's just so easy to get distracted too.
Yeah.
No, I do want to kind of just let people know that if you're already married,
No,
don't break up
Yeah.
with your
No. That's why
No
I
major
said
life changes.
Yeah.
right?
yeah, no major life changes for the first year. What was crazy though about my and this one, I hold this one so tight because you know, I had really, when I relapsed and I finally got sober. And Donna had been drinking a little bit too much too, and went through a place. And I remember she came back to the house, and I was like fucked up. I hadn't shaved my head in like days, and she came in and literally stole the car from me. Right? She came in, she came in and she goes, I don't even know who you are anymore. You look disgust. I mean, this is what I heard. I don't think this was her exact words, but like, you look disgusting, which I'm
sure you did.
I did.
We all do,
Probably
especially when like regardless if you shaved your
And
head or
like-
not,
and-
you have a ugly face. It's
Yeah.
disgusting.
It's like
And I remember how
sunken in.
bad
Yes.
that like hurt.
Yeah.
But I kept going because I was, you know, I was going to the bitter end. You know,
I'll show her.
to the death, right? Finally, I got rescued by the bail agent in the Orange County Sheriff's Department. They kicked in my door after I didn't show up to court. But I detox in jail. I finally get to a rehab center. I talked to Donna on the phone, and I distinctly remember this day, because this was the day where I made the decision that no matter what, I was going to do this thing. And I'll tell you the conversation. She said, you know what? I just don't know if I'm going to stay with you. And I remember the pain that I felt when she said that. And I was like, I wanted to run and go get loaded, because that's what I do.
Yeah.
Then I remember praying to God, and I was just like, God, you know what? Like, I need to do this because I don't want to hurt another human being the way I hurt her ever again. And that was the day I truly surrendered.
I love that.
You know, like, I was going to do it.
You have it like ingrained in your memory.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I don't want to forget the pain.
Mm-mm.
Like, the pain is what keeps me like sane today, and not sticking a fucking needle back in my arm. Because I had 9 years clean and sober, and I stuck a needle in my arm with a beautiful I had a wife and kids and a daughter that didn't have a mom that needed me, that had been with me her whole entire life, and she was 9 years old, and I stuck a needle back in my arm.
Do you know what like led you to do that?
Stop doing what worked.
I stopped doing the things at work. Like, I truly believe,
Took his
like,
will back. He was running shit.
Alcoholics Anonymous.
All the promises.
Alcoholics
true in
Anonymous talks about that daily reprieve.
Yeah.
I get a daily reprieve based on my spiritual maintenance. I had lost my spirituality. My work became my God.
Yeah.
Making money became my God. And then when Facebook showed up, and I had done 3 episodes on this show on intervention, and I had disappeared from my lifestyle, my old life. Nobody knew what happened to me. And I was on the show on intervention when it was at its biggest ever, and Facebook was brand new. All my friends from my old life saw me on that show, and they started DMing me on Facebook. And my best friend DM'd me, and I remember talking to him on the phone, and I was like, what are you doing right now? And he's like, oh, this is his exact words. Oh, I'm going in this bitch's house right now. I'm going to go sell her some shit. And I was like, and I knew exactly where he was and where he was going. And in my mind, for a slight second, that sounded fun to me. And the life that I was living, being responsible, being a father, a bill-paying person, was like
Boring.
Well, yeah, I feel like that was like the allure for so long for me, was like I didn't have any responsibility. I didn't have to like worry about bills or doctor appointments or like keeping arrangements. Like, it was just all about making money and getting high. It was like adventurous in a way, you know? And I like didn't want to grow up and like leave that behind.
Yeah.
But then I had that conflicting like internal struggle all the time, because I'm like, well, no, I want to have kids one day. I want to have a husband. Like, I want to have a job. I want to make my parents proud, you know? So it was like, you can't have both. You can't have, and
Yeah. Then my brain told me that it was going to be a a pool party with girls in bikinis and alcohol pouring, and then I found myself alone in a hotel room in Las Vegas, with a needle in my arm, paranoid, looking out the fucking peephole because I thought that Ken Seeley from the show was out there with my family.
Oh my
doing
God,
an
that's
intervention.
horrible. That's actually horrible.
That's so like this is what I thought it was gonna be,
yeah.
and this is what the reality was. And I don't ever want to forget that reality either, because that is the God's honest truth. It is never fun.
Never.
It isn't. No.
For that 15 seconds of pleasure that I felt when it first hit my body, fuck that.
It's so crazy. I would always like overanalyze that. Like, how does this substance, like this little thing, and like a feeling, control my life and let me throw everything away that I love?
Everything.
It's an obsession and physical allergy. That's why it's a disease. It's
Yeah.
twofold. It's like, it's really hard for a normal person to really comprehend like the addiction and like the allergy to it, because like you just said, if you do X and this is the consequence from it, stop doing that. It's like really easy.
Yeah, that's what
But
a normal
not.
person thinks.
Right. But then it's
Like-
all of the things that we've all encountered. Those are not normal behaviors. That's not normal things. That's not like, that's not what we're meant to do in life in general. We're supposed to be loving individuals and be of service of some sort in some degree. And we're not that at all.
Yeah.
We're self-serving oneself
Yeah.
constantly, because we're only thinking about us and the next fix and the next this and get out of my head and me. That's like not at all
so
normal.
Amazing too, though, like how we are like the most selfish people at our core, and then we transform into
Right.
like
I think it,
wonderful human beings that like help other people.
but you know what's weird about that? I like, before going into the program, I never once considered myself selfish
yeah.
until getting into the program, and then realizing like, whoa, once you're doing, going through everything and then looking at the character defects and kind of like looking and peeling back that onion, it's really eye-opening. And then it's so helpful, because you're right, because then you're able to kind of turn that completely opposite and actually hopefully do some type of good,
Yeah.
which is what you're doing now.
Yeah.
Because in such a short time, you're coming up on 3 years. When did you decide that you wanted to go into like the treatment kind of arena?
So I was like, I got off house arrest in November of 2023, and we opened up Namaste in January. So it was like
Oh damn,
boom, boom. Yeah.
that's 2 months. The fuck?
So my partners already have 4 other houses.
Oh, okay.
So they knew what they were doing, and they were ready to expand, and
Sure.
trusted me to be part of it. Yeah.
Where are your sober living home? Your sober living home?
It's in West Hills,
West Hills?
in San Fernando Valley.
I don't know where that is.
You don't know
either.
San
I don't
Fernando
know.
Valley?
I don't
No?
either.
No.
I don't know either.
Huh? Oh, okay. So I do know where San Fernando Valley is. That's.
This is like the nicer part, though. It's not like
Do you know anybody up there that has treatment centers and
Yeah.
other sober living homes?
a lot of people. Yeah. So I'm also, I was doing business development for a treatment center in the Valley too, but I'm actually starting with a new place on Tuesday.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
So yeah,
Nice.
it's been really cool. Like, once you weed out like the people that are doing it for the wrong reasons, like it's a really good community.
Sure.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it is. And then the community is kind of small because there's a ton of people that are doing it for the wrong reason.
Yeah.
And that's why I started my first treatment center, because the people that were, I don't want to say it was their fault though, because the treatment center that I went through originally is the same place that I ended up working for. But when I went through their treatment center, they were both clean and sober, Narcotics Anonymous. But while I was in their treatment center, the guy relapsed. And he never really turned it back around. And then they brought their son in, and their son wasn't an addict. He was he just knew marketing,
Okay.
and he was really good at it. But if somebody, and this was in the cash pay days, there was no insurance paying for treatment. So if somebody relapsed, he would be like, cha-ching. literally come out. He'd be like, Chad, so and so relapsed. I need you to get on the phone, call their parents, and tell them it's going to be $3,500 for detox, or they can come pick up their son today. You know, and I was just like not cool with all of that.
Yeah.
And so I went to my dad after I figured some stuff out. I just wanted some place that was ethical,
Yeah.
that cared, that put client care before money. 22 years later, I mean, our lights are still on
Yeah.
because we do the right thing for the client.
Yeah.
And that's really awesome.
Thank you.
Are you in a relationship?
So I was recently in one. I just got out of it
Mm.
in early January. But it was for the best.
Yeah,
Yeah.
for sure. And it was a sober one.
Yeah, it was a sober one, and it was definitely different than what I'm used to because it wasn't like a big blowout fight that like
Yeah, you're an adult, I'm
I
sure.
had to like actually have a conversation.
Totally.
It was uncomfortable.
And say how, like, actually use your words.
Yeah.
Otherwise, you end up 16 years later and you're fucking married. If you don't have the conversation, you know what I'm saying? You just end up 17 years hanging out.
Abusing your wife.
She loves it.
Are you in a relationship?
Currently going through a divorce. Been married 11 years, but he's amazing.
Yeah.
I love him to death. I can't say anything negative about him, and we're still best of friends. And I'm forever grateful for that
Yeah.
moment of time because, like you just said, I'm proud of how we're walking through it.
Yeah.
Because I've seen some not the best,
Yeah.
and I've been not the best in the past. So the fact that God brought me this far, I'm a whole nother person,
Yeah.
you know? So sobriety is a beautiful thing.
Yeah, it is. How long are you sober?
God willing, this coming March 24th, I'll have 12 years.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
I got chills. That's so long and so amazing. Yeah.
Yeah. I feel very, very blessed.
7-Eleven right now.
Yeah, we're 7-Eleven.
7-Eleven.
That's how I know his year, just because of literally what's that called? Like a, I want to say quirky number, but
It's a
where
it's
you
a,
like remember it.
it's a store.
I know, fool. But I'm trying to fit. Isn't there a term where you use like a?
I was going to say it's a store too.
I think
I
I know
just
what
wanna
you're
be
talking
You know what I
quiet.
mean? Like it's a.
I don't want to get yelled
I
at.
don't know. Anyways, yeah, 7-Eleven over here.
That was nice what you said. Your thing was nice.
This is the truth.
It was nice. I just said what that was it. Heartfelt.
He's trying to clean up his mess.
Yeah, I know.
from it.
Are any of you guys into like weird stuff like
Oh, God,
like,
yeah. Oh, fuck yeah.
Like what?
like looking
And I'll
for,
talk on air
signs,
about
like
it.
from
You
the
wanna go
universe
off
that
air.
are
For sure,
like
always.
numbers and like
Everything.
synchronicities and
That's what I was kind of like trying to go with, like
okay.
7-Eleven, like
Yeah.
somewhat on that same page of where I can remember, because sometimes I remember like something when I was 21,
Yeah.
and then you asked me something that I did yesterday. I'm like, I have no fucking clue.
Yeah.
You know? So
Yeah.
it's weird how the brain works, but yeah, I mean, for sure, I'm always looking at little nuggets and little signs and stuff that happen. I mean, me sitting here is a sign.
Yeah.
Like things, God will take you places, and then if it is at ease, then you know it's right. If it flows effortlessly.
Yeah.
If you're trying to force something, like what's the analogy, like a square peg into a round hole or something, that's not it.
That's Shane every day. He's got
You know?
he's sitting there with his hammer and he's got his fucking square peg. And he's like,
Exactly. He's still, he's still
I think it
hitting
looks
it.
like a baton. That's a tripod, right? I have the same one with the Bluetooth thing. Yeah.
yeah.
I learned that you could be crazy no matter what. It doesn't matter. You could take crazy into normal life in a good way.
Oh, I
'Cause
don't,
you're not normal.
I'm not at all.
You're not. No, you're.
Chad said
be
it to
normal,
in a business meeting yesterday on Zoom with no problem talking about me being like, what did you call me? I don't know. He said something about me, because I'm, I guess, a little bit loud. I didn't realize I was that loud until this year.
Ever walk into look, we don't do a lot of public stuff but the other day I showed up at the gym same time as her.
It just so happened we were walking in at the same time.
Walking
so.
into the gym with her was like, I'm more of I just walk in, I skip
She's
I get my things,
No, I say hello to everybody.
Oh, you do?
card shit. No, she talks shit like like like
But that's
it's
just,
like fucking 5 o'clock in the morning too. Like
Damn, you guys go to the gym that early?
yeah.
that's because we're here. We gotta get our shit done before. So all of the stuff that we gotta do, like time with God, work out, all the things
Yeah,
have
like
to be
we're
done
like
before
all
here.
early risers
Uh-huh.
at 4, 3:30.
What?
4.
3:30? 4?
Yeah.
What time do you guys go to sleep?
8.
Really?
I went to bed at midnight last night,
Donna, what time do I go
which
to
was
bed?
weird for me.
Don't lie to
No.
them. 7.
7?
Oh yeah, he goes to bed like before it's like dark.
Not right now. It's dark right now.
It's
this
wild.
This is my time of year, man. When like when the sun goes
Something
down.
happens or like a text will come in about something about work, and if I look at the clock and it's like 7:45, I'm like, fuck, Chad ain't gonna answer. He's already out.
Well, that's like really inspiring though, because I went to Pilates this morning at 7:30 and I thought that was early. I'm
It is if it for you.
It-
If
but
that
look,
is,
you know what,
that's
for-
awesome.
For LA people, yeah, we'll go with that. But down here in the South OC, we shut down. Our town shuts down
Yeah.
at 9:00. I
What
mean,
what signs did you look for? Because you had mentioned it.
Okay,
so I
so
wanna,
yesterday, I was going on a hike, and it was weird. They had like the military blocking off like the hiking area we were trying to get to.
Interesting.
I think it's because like the Palisades
Oh,
fire,
okay.
so they were
Mhm.
like doing something with power lines. But I'm like, why does the military have to be here? It was a little weird. So then like we were trying to find another one, and we drove up the street, and there was like a street said Gypsy Street, and then it said Nomad, and people were always like, oh, you're like such a gypsy, because I'm like into crystals and like
Oh, okay.
meditation and breath work and all that like
Sure.
hippy dippy stuff. And so like that, I was like, this hike is not gonna be blocked off. Like that's what I thought, and it wasn't. It was like completely open, and yeah. Or I'll look for like numbers. Like I was in Mammoth a few weeks ago, and like the chairlift I was getting on was like, I think like 77 or like,
Yeah.
or like 111, or I just will keep looking at
111 or 11
1111.
11 pops up a lot in my life.
Yeah.
But as you guys were talking about numbers, I realized that in this office right here, there's 91 and 911.
Oh.
So, and 9/11
But
is the day that my son-in-law died from fentanyl.
My cousin died from fentanyl in 9/11.
What year?
It was 2022.
That's the same year. That's the same day Justin died.
Oh my God.
9/11 of 2022.
Like
That's crazy.
it's no coincidence. Too many things that happen in numbers.
And you know
remember?
what's her name? What's her name on Instagram? Gypsy
I just,
DQ.
I don't know. What is it?
Gypsy DQ.
I always
Oh,
say
is
Dairy
it?
Queen. I always say Dairy Queen to myself.
You do?
I
Wait,
do.
why Dairy Queen?
I go
You said
Gypsy Dairy Queen
before?
because I love Dairy Queen. I just love Dairy Queen is so cool.
I
So
mean,
when-
not her name. Her nickname is DQ,
Okay, yeah.
but she's Gypsy. That was her. That was her tagger when she was a tagger.
I had a girlfriend named Gypsy.
You were a tagger, Tyler?
Yeah, she can do some pretty good graffiti art. She got her whole house up in graffiti art. I love it.
That's cool. That's a crazy coincidence.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was really sad. I was on house arrest, and like we got the call. I was like doing like my workouts off like YouTube in the living room, and I could hear my mom just like screaming from outside. That like you never get
Yeah.
that scream out of your head, you know?
No, I answered my daughter, not Gia, but she's here too. She's out there. Found him. It was her I call him her fiance, the love of her life. They were together since she was like 15. She found him at like 7:30 a.m. My phone started ringing. I was like shaving my head, getting ready to go to the gym. And when I answered the phone, she was screaming, like that scream. And I knew the second I picked up the phone, I knew what had happened before she even said it. That's why this podcast exists, is because God put it on my heart to be the voice for the people that had lost their lives, and to offer hope. And I'm sure we all, I knew this fucker over here already, but the rest of us probably would have never met. Because
For sure. No way.
there's no way. I mean, he did still live next to your business partner, but
I mean, think about that. How long did Janet live next to you? And I never saw you guys, not once. And I went over to her house all the time.
he saw you though, right?
I never
or
saw
at least
him.
her truck,
So your
right?
truck.
But like, okay, But I
was
never
like-
got.
He,
we never
he-
met.
you know, he creeped out the window a few times. He's like, "Oh, is Natalie Eva Marie over there at my neighbor's house?"
Oh, fucking A.
But you know what I mean? But like, look at that though. Like how close of like possibility of just having an encounter of like, oh, this is my neighbor, like Shane, just like out of just introducing like on the way out or whatever, never happened.
Never happened. And it's a small street.
Right. It's like the tiniest.
There's
one.
like 5 houses on
Yeah.
that street.
And that would never. I never saw you guys.
No.
So just that is a perfect
6?
example
6, yeah. 2 for sale right now.
Wow.
of wow.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Janet's.
Sure, hers is gone.
Oh.
Yeah, she sold hers.
Mm-hmm.
Moved inland.
Smart.
They're building.
Yeah, they're building.
Yes, I heard in a meeting one time, like someone was saying that. I feel like I'm gonna butcher it, not say it as eloquently as he did, but like how your sobriety, like if you decided to go out tomorrow and like relapse,
Yeah.
like you don't realize how many lives that will ultimately affect because
sure.
there's so many more people in the future you're gonna be helping and like
Yeah.
sponsoring or influencing in some type of way, and
Yeah.
Or just your own family.
yeah.
Like it doesn't just affect
Yeah,
us.
but you know what
it
I like
trickles.
about Jessy, besides the way she spells her name, is I like that she's in shape. She's taking care of herself. Because a lot of people, even in recovery, lose touch and lose that. They don't, you know what I mean?
What the original AA, bro, was cigarettes and donuts, man, and coffee.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
and
So
it-
that's what I like. So she's got it together. She's working in recovery. She's got her own sober living home. You know what I'm saying? She's taking care of herself.
Thank you.
I mean, it's me personally. I think it's mind, body, soul. So if you're not taking
Yeah.
care of all three, you're not going to be
Right?
like
Yeah.
You're not
fulfilling your full potential to the ultimate
I
level.
agree.
And
I feel
that's
like-
why it's like so important with,
I
especially
agree.
with NEM actually really officially about to open.
Yeah.
Like it's so important to stress that to every patient and every client that comes in that it's all three. It has to be
Exactly.
yeah.
And
because
I
you're
feel
gonna
like,
feel it.
I feel like fitness should be like required.
Dude, it's
You
it's
know, like,
at this
and-
stage in the game with where
Yeah.
we are with podcasts and so many educated people that are dropping knowledge with like the scientific proof of what exercise actually does for your body is like I don't want to hear it. Like I don't want to hear it from somebody where it's already proven
Yeah.
on multiple doctors have even said it where like the dopamine and all the feel good that we're searching by picking up or doing a drug, those release when you're exercising
Yeah.
or even just out in the sunlight.
Yeah.
Or
Like
doing it.
taking a hike like out in the sun
Yeah.
and just like being out in the open air. I just like love I don't know, like what you said, mind, body, and soul.
Yeah.
Because it's for me, like I love meditation. I
Yeah.
used to hate it. I remember being
totally.
like
Me too.
defiant
Me
in
too.
rehab. I'm like, I'm not doing meditation.
I know.
And like just like having to be like the little asshole out of the group, And
Mm-hmm.
now I'm like, I love meditation. Like I try to do it every day, at least for 5 minutes,
Sure.
And I'd love to do like a retreat one day, like a meditation retreat. Not a silent retreat.
No,
I
me
don't
too.
think I could handle
So
a
it's
silent
crazy.
one, but-
So my sponsorship line, like they'll do retreats every year, like whoever can, obviously come, and it's really cool because it's always like in some kind of cool area or where you're out in like nature,
yeah.
and there'll be a variety of different things that are going on, whether it's if you want to go and do, meditation or hit a meeting or just like walk in nature, but I want to do one too. I
Yeah.
think it would be good.
Yeah. Right. I just like I love like self-discovery, and I just want to
Sure.
keep growing, And even when I was in my addiction, I would go to like Barnes and Nobles and I would like steal self-help books.
Sure.
yeah.
Because I was like trying to like somehow fix myself. You
Yeah,
know?
for sure.
Yeah.
I remember this cop one time was like searching my car, and I had like my books from CSUN in the back and like my self-help books and then my drugs. And he
Right.
was just like, what is going on with you?
He's like, girl, you need Jesus. That's what you need.
If you want what we have and are willing to make the effort to get it, you are ready to take some certain steps.
Yeah.
These are the principles that made our recovery possible.
Whoa.
Well, I'm unfortunately I know all the readings
Bro.
by heart.
Oh yeah, I was gonna say, are you one of those people that can like recite on page? I'm not there yet, but I
No,
want to do
I
it.
mean I can I don't know the page numbers, but I do recite stuff. I'm an NA guy. I grew up in I found my recovery in Narcotics Anonymous. So
Did you do the workbook?
I did the workbook.
Is that the only way to do it? Like, so
I-
I've been doing AA, but my
I-
sponsor she's gonna like work me through the NA steps now.
Yeah,
Like,
it's really
do
good.
something
It-
Both are
different.
great.
Yeah.
I did so my sponsor, Leo, first time we did the steps, he took me through the AA way because that's what his sponsor did. Then the second time after he worked the NA step working guide, I did it. It's way more writing though.
Yeah.
Doing it.
I just
in
got my workbook. So.
Yeah, it's pretty gnar. Pretty gnar. But it's all good.
Yeah.
You know? We just keep trying to improve one day at a time.
Yeah.
Well, Jessy, this was a real pleasure.
Congratulations to you.
Yeah.
You.
Yeah.
Congratulations on your sobriety, your sober living home.
Yes.
And
She's living a dream. 3 years coming up. I remember when I was 3 years, I was hungry. She's hungry right now.
Starving.
Starving.
Yeah.
I mean, you're still hungry, brother. Like, dude.
You're right.
I mean, we've been starving for like a month.
You're right.
2?
2
6?
years.
I don't know.
Yeah.
How long's it been?
Too fucking long.
You guys all have like really great energy. Like you vibe.
Yeah, we get
really
along.
Well.
Yeah.
And, like, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I
like
think-
a good, I like coming in here, it just like felt like good, you know? I
Awesome.
We
appreciate
try.
that.
I mean, honest to God, like we're together quite a bit, so we.
That's why literally I'm not kidding.
Whoa.
That was, I know, really loud, huh?
That's why I feel like it is like I know that it's
Real.
God
Yeah.
because trust me, no other chick
you
could
picky?
deal with these Beavis and Butthead every day.
Who's
Like,
Beavis?
I don't know.
Come on.
I
man.
think I used that term like the
Who-
other day.
Who would be Beavis and who would
Who's
be
Beavis?
Butthead? I'm the
And like,
I'm-
and then you have to think about it. Like,
I'm more Beavis.
I love Donna. Like, that's his wife. Like, I feel like everything just like God made it so effortlessly that that's why I know that it's his will, not mine,
Yeah.
which is huge because I went out at 3. Then you're turning 3. I went out at 3, so I like to take my will back.
I went out.
I know better.
I went out
Yeah.
at 3 the first time.
Oh, you did?
Yeah.
I went out at 3. Then I think I went out at like a week. You know, it was fucking-
I've been trying this damn thing since 1996.
what year was I? I want to know. It was whatever I
November
was
of
23.
96 was the first time I got arrested and sentenced. My first sentence was 365 days at the Wits Inn right here in Dana Point.
Yeah.
And you do the full,
Oh yeah.
right?
Yeah. Again, thank you.
Yeah.
Yes.
Thank
Thank
you.
you so much.
I appreciate being on here.